Are you following a gluten-free lifestyle? Maybe even looking for some new recipes and ways to make it a cheaper lifestyle? Well, you are on the right channel at the right time because in this episode, we're going to dive deep into that. My name is Leslie Urbis. I'm a registered dietitian and a personal trainer. And as I like to personally say, I am a selfless overachiever in recovery, here today to bust more myths about small things like gluten-free living has to be completely expensive and completely tough. So if you are looking to solve those two problems, stick around. Today, I have my guest on with me, Sharon McCaskill. How are you doing
Hi.
today?
Great. Thank you for having me.
Fabulous. That's awesome. So share with everybody a little bit more that you do. I know I got privileged to it earlier, but I'd like to hear from your own words.
Yeah, so I'm also a registered dietitian, and my focus there is more on gluten-free living, celiac disease. There's various reasons why somebody would be gluten-free, right? So I work with people across the spectrum, and people with wider gut health issues as well. But that's my main focus. And in addition to my private practice, I also have it gets called a food blog, but it's a lot wider than that, called The Helpful GF. And it posts tons of tips, recipes, reviews of gluten-free products, all that type of stuff.
I love it. We will definitely have that blog linked below. Can't tell you how helpful that will be. I can already think of two friends that will help. Because well, I know gluten-free and they know gluten-free because
Yeah.
they've been doing it for their, kids and things like that. It's always nice to just be able to pop in and look at something. Saving time, which is the first tip here. You can save time by going to somebody who's already done the legwork for you, right?
For sure.
Leverage, don't try to start your own research when somebody's got it out there for you. So
Yeah.
awesome. I love that. So I know that one of the things that we were also going to share with them is how to keep it on the cheaper end. A lot I hear from people is that gluten-free is so much more expensive. Regular flour in a store, I haven't been in the States in a little while, so I don't know how cheap that is. Regular flour in the store here in Spain is very, very cheap. However, regular like almond flour or some of the alternative flours are quite more expensive. So how do people kind of keep it on the lesser end for their budget purpose?
Yes, definitely. Gluten-free foods in the States, past studies have shown that it costs about 183% more to eat gluten-free as opposed to eating conventional foods. However, I think a lot of the times we see those price increases is when we're looking for the foods that have been modified to be gluten-free. So these would be processed foods for things like gluten-free flours, right? An all-purpose gluten-free flour blend is always going to cost more than your regular all-purpose flour blend. But when we think about whole foods and things that are naturally gluten free, like potatoes, rice, beans, these things are cheap. They're affordable. Um, Produce is naturally gluten free, right? All of these things. If you gear your meals back towards those whole foods, the things as nature created to already be gluten free, we will definitely be looking at more affordable options.
I love it because people are always looking for those. So for sure, that's amazing. And I agree. I mean, I might opt for the gluten-free Oreo every once in a while if it tastes good. And I'm an Oreo fan.
100%.
And
And
I'm an Oreo fan, but
yeah, and that's one of the reasons why people like ask me all the time, like, you're a registered dietitian. Why do you have a guide to gluten-free chocolate on your website? Like, why are you reviewing Snickers bars and talking about whether or not they're gluten-free? And I'm like, because people need to live life too. But I also don't want you to waste. I think people get so frustrated when they first go gluten-free. They go to the store, they see all the things that say gluten-free, and they start buying all those things, and most of them taste subpar and you eat it and you're like, oh, my life is going to be so sad, right? Like, let's not waste our money on that. Like, if you want to eat gluten-free Oreos, I think they did it right. Like, those are delicious. Like spend your money on the things that are going to actually taste good. And you're not going to be disappointed if you buy a strawberry and you eat it because it tastes the same whether you're gluten-free or not, right?
I love that, and I love how you put that in there. So I like to say that I help people with the shame and guilt. That's why I put the ploy in the very beginning of I'm a selfless overachiever in recovery
Mhm.
because selfless overachievers are, putting on the oxygen mask of everybody on the whole dang plane. Meanwhile, they're turning blue.
Yeah.
And truthfully, I am one of very much similar to you. I just posted a YouTube today. I'm like, this is my quick on the go lunch. And I've got a bag of protein chips and I've got some really healthy bread. And then I've got a little bit of chocolate because it's like, I'm going to need this sugar. Right. And I don't feel bad for any of that. And part of what I started it with is that the shame and the guilt in our bodies is worse. And so I really like what Sharon over here is saying, because it doesn't have to do with perfectionism. It doesn't, the moment somebody tells you, you cannot have this, or I would never do this, or you shouldn't do that, it invokes a piece of shame and guilt in your body. And without them giving you the solution to the problem, all they do is put fear in you and shame and guilt in you, and you can't do anything. You can't do anything. You're rendered helpless. So
Right.
I love how you put that there. This totally ties into everything. So any other tips for them? Any other like takeaways that would, help them like to make it easier, simpler, anything that you could think off of the top of your head that would help them?
Yeah, I think that the biggest struggle that I see some people coming to me with, especially my clients, when they first start going gluten free, right? You find out you need to be medically gluten free for whatever reason. That is stressful, right? Like you're overhauling more than just your food. That affects so many areas of your life, especially if you have an allergy or celiac and you have to be so careful about cross contact. Now you're worried about Christmas at grandma's house because did the flour from the pie she baked fly in the air and land on the turkey that you're all trying to eat, right? Like we're worried about all these little things. And in addition to all of that, I see these clients have been in Facebook groups and they're asking, I'm eating this, why don't I feel good? And everybody's like, well, now you need to cut out corn and now you need to cut out dairy and now you need to cut out. And it's too overwhelming. It's too much. And I like to tell people, like, if you have a medical need to be gluten free, let's focus on that because at least right now, that is enough. Like, that's a lot of restriction. That's a lot of stress.
I completely agree. So definitely go check out her blog. Is there anything else you want them to know? And I'm going to post obviously all the links below, besides just the blog, any place else that they can go to find more information.
Yeah, so if you go to my website, The Helpful GF, there's a quiz there that you can take, and based on your level of gluten-free experience or just kind of your lifestyle, it'll send you a personalized guide with recipes and tips and stuff like that, which I love. But depending on which state you're in, if you're looking for a registered dietitian that focuses on gluten-free living and creating balanced meals within that, you can check out my private practice at McCaskillNutrition.com as well.
Awesome. Yeah, all those links will be linked below, as you will see from her. So grab any of those. If you have questions, please comment them below. If she doesn't see them, I will gladly reach out to her and make sure she answers them for you.
Yes.
And of course, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. Bye for now. Have a good, fit, and fabulous day.